Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching and for subscribing. And if you're just visiting, please consider subscribing. So it's always fun sharing with you my favorites or new purchases, but what about fragrances that didn't work out? That's what today's video is about. I'm gonna share with you 10 fragrances that are leaving my collection. And they're leaving for different reasons. There is a blind buy that didn't work out. There is a fragrance that I changed my mind on. Some fragrances that don't perform well. Some that I found dupes for, etc. I think I mentioned in a previous video that I only keep fragrances in my collection that I use and love, fragrances that bring me joy. And if something doesn't fall in that category, then I pass it on to someone else who hopefully will use and enjoy it more than I do. So let's get started. The first one I actually don't have already, so I'm gonna share a picture with you, and you might be surprised by this. I'm talking about Parfums de Marly de Lina, and specifically the travel spray set that I had. You might be asking, but don't you love this fragrance? Why are you getting rid of it? Well, I do love it. It's definitely one of my favorites. And for that reason, I want to have a full bottle. So I've sold my travel sprays and I will be ordering a full bottle of de Lina. So that's the first one. Second one is Bvlgari green tea. Now, this is a beautiful fragrance and I really enjoy green tea scents. This is really kind of herbal green tea, very unisex fragrance. And for some reason, I'm just not reaching for this one. I have other green tea fragrances that I'm using more than this one. More specifically, I've been using a ton of notebook, citrus, and green tea. And I have to use a ton of this one because the lasting power is really not very good. So I have to cover myself in this to really smell it for a while. But this just has this sharpness and crispness to it that I'm enjoying more in the summer than the Bvlgari one. So this green tea is definitely a keeper. And another tea fragrance that I'm really loving and using a lot, this is from Purdue. This is Assam of India. This is another really fresh, lemony kind of tea that I'm using a lot more. I'm not sure why Bvlgari green tea is a beautiful fragrance. I think if I had to guess, it's probably the herbal nature of this fragrance that is not that is stopping me from reaching from this one, but I don't want it to just stay and collect dust, so this one is leaving. Next one on the list is Batucada from L'Artisan Perfumer, and I shared this one with you in my recent haul, and you should not be surprised if you watch that video by this one, because this was a failed blind buy. It just doesn't work for me. It's supposed to smell like you're walking on the beach, drinking a nice drink, enjoying the breeze, but to me, this is pickles, so obviously this has to go. Next one is YSL Black Opium. I love the scent. It's beautiful, sweet, caramelly coffee. I love those types of scents, but as mentioned previously, lasting power is non-existent. But I've been keeping it for a while in my collection just because I enjoyed the scent so much. But you might have seen recently that I found a dupe for this, something that has very, very similar scent, but lasting power is much, much, much better. I'm talking about, of course, Quinto Canto Lucretia. So very similar scent, maybe a tad bit sweeter, but lasting power is amazing. So for that reason, Black Opium no longer needs to stay in my collection and it's gonna go to someone else. Next one I have is Versace Eros. This is a lovely, sweet, citrusy, floral fragrance. Very pleasant, very inoffensive. But as I said in my forgotten favorites, for some reason, I'm just not reaching for this one. I think I have other fragrances that I'm enjoying more that are sort of in the same category. So for that reason, I decided to part ways with Eros from Versace. Next one is from Dolce & Gabbana, and this is the One Desire. Now, I've been keeping this fragrance in my collection for a while just because I know this is limited edition and this is not easy to find, and I thought, well, I'm gonna keep it. But I decided that's not a good enough reason to keep something in my collection, especially since I have a significant collection. So what is the problem with this one? Well, the problem with this one is that it's one of those fragrances that I come across rarely, but it does happen sometimes where I can't smell much of anything. It's sort of faintly sweet, faintly ambery, faintly, I don't even know what's in it, honestly. I can't distinguish anything. The scent is very, very faint on me, and I just never wear it. I think I've worn it maybe once, and I've had it for at least a year. So it's time for it to go. Next one, and I'm really sad about this one because I've tried to love it for such a long time. I keep trying it and hoping, okay, I'm gonna love it, okay, I'm gonna love it, and I just don't love it. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't hate it. It's a really nice scent, and I've definitely succumbed to all the hype to buy this one. I'm talking about Elie Saab Girl of Now, and I have the Forever version. I like this scent, but I just don't love it. No matter how much I try. It is such a lovely bottle. I think it's so, I don't know, art deco and a little bit whimsical and just beautiful. I would love to have it as part of my collection, but this is of course sweet vanilla, nutty almond. I don't know. There's something in this sweetness, in this nuttiness that I just find headachy. There's something that is a little sickening. I don't know. And I'm a fan of sweet perfumes, as you know. So I have to let this one go. And plus, I think there is one other fragrance in my collection that's definitely not a dupe, but kind of falls in the same sweet almond category that I enjoy so much more. So that's why I'm ready to let this one go. And the fragrance that I'm talking about that I find kind of in the same vein as this one, it's Valentino Donna Aqua. Again, this is not a dupe, but it kind of has the same sweet almond note, but much, much more pleasant and much more wearable in this one, in my opinion. Okay, next one is Salvador Ferragamo Amo Ferragamo. Again, I purchased this one based on all the beautiful reviews by Delicious Delights, as I'm sure many of you have done. But I purchased this in cold weather, and I kind of knew going in that this is probably a summery type of fragrance. So I didn't wear it in a winter thinking that, you know, when the hot weather comes, I'm going to be wearing this a ton. But it turns out I am not. For some reason, and I don't know what that is, I am not reaching for it at all. In fact, I have not worn it even once. Every time that I think about wearing it, that I plan wearing it, I always change my mind and go for something else. So, and the scent is beautiful. This is orange creamsicle. That's what it is. It's beautiful. But I'm not using it. I'm not reaching for it. Like I said, haven't worn it even once. so I'm not going to keep it. So Amo Ferragamo is going to find a new home. And the last two, I'm really sad to part with these two, but I just feel like I have to. First one is, well, both of them are from the same house. Let's start with that. They're from Annick Goutal. The first one is Rose Pompon, which if you watched my favorite rose scents video, you've seen it there. It's a lovely, fresh, green type of rose. Beautiful. But I also mentioned in that video that there's absolutely no lasting power on this. And although I love the scent and I love the bottle and I'm really interested in exploring this house more, I just have enough rose fragrances that perform much better than this. And so for that reason, I've decided to let this one go. And the last one is from the same house, from Annick Goutal, unfortunately. And this is, I'm gonna try to pronounce it, Eau d'Adrien. Let me show it again so you can see the title, and I'll link everything in the description as well. Again, I thought I was gonna wear this one a lot more in the summer, but I have not. This is a very green, kind of sharp, citrusy scent. This is a unisex fragrance, and it leans a little bit more masculine to me. It's very woodsy. It's a beautiful scent, beautiful, but I'm not reaching for it. And again, I have another scent that is not a dupe, but kind of runs in the same vein and reminds me of this one that I'm using a lot more. And the scent that I'm talking about is Dior's Iscalo Portofino. So I just prefer this one. Again, it's a green, woodsy, citrusy, very much unisex, but for some reason I'm just reaching more for this. So that's why I'm going to let Annick Goutal go. So these are the 10 fragrances that are leaving my collection. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please remember to subscribe and give me a thumbs up, and I will see you soon again in my next video. Bye!